5 defensive backs, 3rd down and 10. Trevor Lawrence to the air. Harris in the block to the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! The rookie from LSU.
What a beautiful play it was. Trevor Lawrence to Brian Thomas Jr. and the Jaguars were looking good in the first half down in Miami. Hopefully that's a tandem we see for years to come, connecting. Good momentum, but the Jaguars couldn't keep it, Dan.
Oh, 14-0, 17-7. The Jaguars were cruising. They're about to put this game away. This is the knockout punch that was going to be delivered. Instead, the ball got punched out. Dolphins recover, score on the next play. Tough loss on the road. We're going to break it all down right now on Jags Report Live.
This is Action Sports Jags Report Live from Strings Sports Brewery. Sponsored by Farah & Farah, the exclusive injury law firm of the Jaguars.
If you put on the tape, defense, offense, special teams, everyone just flying around the ball, trying to make plays, hustling. It was really good to see the tape, to see that, we're that close.
Yeah, the Jags were really close to maybe even having a dominating win. You figure if they go in there, it might have been a 30-10 kind of win. Instead, it turns into a disappointing loss on Sunday in the season opener against Miami Dolphins. Gabe Davis was pretty good in the football game for the Jags. There were some good moments. Hey, everybody, welcome to Strings Sports Brewery. Now we spend our Mondays and Thursdays here at Strings Sports Brewery. For now, here in Springfield. Eventually, later in the season, we'll move to Jack's Beach when the new location opens up. So looking forward to that. And Antonio Johnson scheduled to join us in just a few moments as well. The Jags safety, that defense played pretty good. I know it's always tough after losses to talk about good things that happen, right? Brian Thomas Jr., the defense, pretty good first impression for some of those guys.
I'm glad we got a defensive guy here tonight. I think that's a positive thing. There was a lot of good things on the defense. Shoot, they never trailed in the game till the very last play, right? I mean, the Jaguars were, it was just, I think, it's just so disappointing because, man, we were about to get a win over a playoff team on the road. It's a great way to start the season. Excitement builds for the home opener. And instead, now you're facing, a very important situation coming up on Sunday, but we'll get to that later. First, we want to talk about the Dolphins and a lot of the things that, seemingly went wrong after that fumble, which, nobody feels worse about that than Travis. I mean, that's a tough thing to have.
Yeah, that's a tough deal. He didn't fumble all last season, believe it or not. And then right after the fumble, this play happened. Tyreek Hill, he's so dangerous, Dan. He's as electric as they come in the National Football League, even more so in person than on TV. And this was a killer. The momentum really changed.
And it was weird because they did such a good job, I thought, on him throughout the game that you look up and he's got 7 catches for 130 yards. I guess that's why. I mean, he is arguably, and I think he is the best receiver in the NFL. I mean, he's so talented, he's so fast, he's so hard to cover. And they get him out in space and just tell him to run, and Tua just throws it up in the air, and he goes and gets it.
Yeah, you can't take a breath with him, and he takes your breath away sometimes. Second half, the offense just couldn't get it going. And it's weird because they actually did get it going. In essence, they had a 97-yard drive they were about to finish. And then after that, when the things went bad in the fourth quarter, they really couldn't come back and try to reestablish the lead.
Well, I counted, today, and I think they had 4 first downs in the second half. 3 of them came on that long, beautiful drive, which was awesome. But the other ones were 3 and out, 4 and out because of the fourth down, 3 and out. And then, when you needed it the most, you got the ball with 4:22. You're still okay. The game's tied. Just go down and get a field goal or a touchdown, and you go 3 and out with 2 sacks. They really got away from them after that ETN play. It's hard to figure out.
Reaction on Monday here in the locker room.
We can stand here and play shoulda, woulda, coulda all day long. Bottom line is, we did not do enough to finish the football game. And these are all the things that as coaches and players we need to fix and get corrected before this week.
Everybody had their mishaps at the wrong time. I take a lot of credit. I didn't play well. I didn't execute to my best ability. So I think we all just kind of hold each other accountable to the small things and just be better next week.
Meanwhile, an update on the injury front. Overall, the Jags were fine health-wise, but this isn't good, Dan. Tyson Campbell just signed to an extension, and you knew it was either a groin or a hamstring. You kind of knew right away it's the hamstring. It will keep him out for some time. No timetable on it.
You can't put a timetable on it, and it's tough because sometimes your body will be feeling better, and you think you can go, but that hamstring, you got to let that thing fully heal. Listen, I'd rather see Tyson Campbell in November and December and not worry about September and October. These are 6-week injuries sometimes, and it can take a while. So you got to let it fully heal, and then he gets back and can play hopefully the second half. But, yeah, just a tough break for that kid because he missed some games last year, got the big contract extensions, everything's good. He's playing good football, and boom, out.
And he's their best corner. I mean, Jags did rotate a bunch of guys in there, and we'll see if them continue to do that. But pretty disappointed. Listen, we've been doing this for a long time around here. We've had some really bad seasons, some bad teams going in. You have a big loss like this.
Right.
I don't think this is panic time for the Jags.
No.
Jags, I think, still have a good football team. How do you feel about them?
I feel like that's exactly right. I think they can compete with any team that they'll face. I think there's going to be a lot of close games, but they need to find a way to win. And I wonder what they were trying to do on offense, especially in the second half. Trevor only had 21 pass attempts. I think he's the guy now. I think that Trevor should go to the coaches and say, listen, we can't have 21 pass attempts in a game. Let him throw it down the field. He threw it down the field beautifully in the first half. And let's win or lose with Trevor Lawrence as the franchise quarterback.
Yeah, Tua threw it 37 times. Trevor threw it 21 times. Is that enough? You want him to be a difference maker in the second half.
And in fairness, Brent, because I'm saying all this, but in fairness, they're 2 of 10 on third down, so they can't stay on the field.
Yeah.
So that was another issue that they got to fix quickly.
Oh, that'll be part of the game plan next week.
It's time for the Game Plan, sponsored by Everbank.
Well, the game plan was the Jaguars stopped the run so they could do their thing on third down. You want to make it long down and distance. And actually, the Jags did this, Dan. They stopped the run beautifully. I think the longest run of the game might have come from Tua on a scramble. And they set up 3rd and 10s, 3rd and 13s, 3rd and 9s, another 3rd and 13. I mean, they had Miami up against it, especially in the first half.
I can't say enough good things about the defense. I think if you walk away from that game and you're disappointed in the Jags defense, well, then you're going to be disappointed because I thought they played fantastic football. They had a couple miscues, but the Dolphins are going to score. That's the #1 offense in the NFL from 1 year ago. And I'm telling you this, that is the fastest team that they'll face all year in terms of skill position players, don't you think?
Absolutely. And between San Francisco and them, they probably give you the most eye candy, and you have to be disciplined with your eyes. And there's just a lot going on. And that brings us to Ryan Nielsen's defense.
Yeah.
Because I think this is really difficult in week 1 no matter who you play. You get a bunch of new moving parts. You hardly play in the preseason in games. You have a new defensive coordinator implementing a system. And then you got to put it all together on the field. And everybody wants you to be perfect. Well, that's not realistic. And then you had to do it against this team.
Yeah.
I thought Ryan Nielsen had a big win on Sunday.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I would say this about Ryan Nielsen. They shuttled a lot of – it was a hot day, right? You were down there. Hot day down in Miami. They shuttled a lot of guys in and out. I saw Ventrell Miller and Chad Muma, right? And you saw Yasir Abdullah out on the field. A lot of defensive linemen moving in and out. And they did that flawlessly, I thought. It didn't seem like guys were ever out of position. Didn't seem like guys were looking at the sideline at the last second. It seemed like they were ready for each play.
And they made a couple of big plays along that front line as well, and that's good for our Power Play of the Week.
Power Play of the Week, sponsored by IBEW Local 177, powering Jacksonville since 1912.
Well, we mentioned the run stops, but then there were a couple of big sacks. How about Eric Armstead getting in the column? I think he played like 40% of the snaps, something like that. So he's still getting his feet under him coming off injury.
Did they call a hold on? Did you see Josh Hines-Allen get held on that? They call
didn't
that
call
or no?
it. We think they would have if they didn't get the sack. And then this bull rush by Trayvon Walker just showed how strong he is and how athletic he is. And then to get Tua down, that was a huge play. Knocked him out of field goal range. So the Jags did make some plays along that front. Tua's a tough guy to sack, too.
He is a tough guy, but one of the things that we had said for a while is Trayvon getting his hand in the dirt. How would he do? Maybe he should play. Well, now he is, and I think he's gonna have a great year because of it. So I expect big things from Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker going forward. I think they have 3 sacks yesterday total.
Yeah, Trayvon got credited with a kind of a gimme sack as well.
You get those are fine.
That's how you get
that
put
helps
up
in
numbers.
Contract talk times.
That's right. All right, let's take a time out here from Strings Sports Brewery in Springfield. Jags Report live. Just getting rolling on these Monday editions, and good to have you along with us. Well, there were some weird moments in that football game.
Yes, there were.
That didn't really even involve both teams making plays on the field. We'll get to that when we come back live from Strings. And don't forget, we're here on Mondays, we're here on Thursdays in Springfield at Strings Sports Brewery. Hope you can join us. And, of course, live on Fox 30 and the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Get local sports on demand with Action Sports Jacks 24/7. All sports, all local, all the time. From the locker room to the field, the Jacks high school football, the Jacksonville Armada, and don't forget, the Brent and Austin Show. They're all in on Trevor. Of course. Download the Action News Jax Now app, available wherever you stream or at actionnewsjax.com. TV, phone, laptop, desktop. Action Sports Jax 24/7. Jacksonville sports all the time.
This is Action Sports Jags Report Live from Strings Sports Brewery. Sponsored by Farah & Farah, the exclusive injury law firm of the Jaguars.
Coming in today, watching the film, obviously knowing the good, the bad, and the ugly, and just fine-tuning those little small things that we made mistakes on down the wire.
Always going to be mistakes in a football game, win or lose. You just talk about them if you lose.
There's no question about that. As we welcome you back to Jags Report Live here at Strings, having a good time tonight, kicking things around. Jaguars lose a tough game to the Miami Dolphins. Look, the first four are tough games. We all know that. We've broken that down. We've looked at the schedule inside and out. We know that after the home opener of Cleveland, you go on the road for two straight to Buffalo on a Monday night, and then to your arch rival, your arch nemesis, Houston. So a place where you won a year ago. So you should have confidence, but there are four tough games, and Jags just got to hold serve. They'll be okay. But man, you had that one in the W column yesterday.
Well, there's another element to this, too, when it comes to the schedule. Before we get to our drive of the day, when you lose to Miami and Buffalo, there's a chance you could be fighting them for a wild card down the road.
Yeah.
You know, so Buffalo becomes maybe even a big game, although you really want to win the Houston game on the road if you could pick one or the other. Division counts more, but there's a bunch of different scenarios down the end where these early games can come back and bite you a
and
little
the
bit.
AFC is tough, right? So anytime you can get a win, if you can beat a team like Miami who's going to contend for a playoff spot as well, man, you want to take that. And so every week you're going to look up and you're going to say, oh, gosh, look at this team from the AFC. There are so many, franchise quarterbacks in this conference. You got to be ready.
And fans hate to hear the word almost when it comes to their football team, but Jags almost had a 97 and a 96-yard drive in this football game.
Second and third longest in franchise history, I think.
In the same game, they almost did it.
Unreal.
We'll take a look at the one that worked.
The drive of the day is sponsored by Ford F-Series. Test drive one at your local Ford dealer today.
All right, Dan, look how it got going, and Tank Bigsby started both of these drives.
And shout out to Tank Bigsby. He ran hard and powerful yesterday. He had a career-high carries and yards, so a terrific performance by him. The Jags went down the field. Gabe Davis, one of his 3 catches. He had 62 yards. That's what he was brought here to do. He fights hard for the extra yardage. Good stuff happening on this drive. Look at the pass protection. Steps up in the pocket, pulls it back down, says, okay, I got a little lane. I'll go pick up the first down. Great. We'll take that anytime. Trevor dives forward, no problem there. They just kept doing it, and then, boy, BTJ right by Jalen Ramsey. Jag fans love that one, didn't they?
Man.
And then what was great about it is Trevor kind of underthrew him. That's what he said in the press conference. But Brian Thomas Jr. made the adjustment to come back for the ball and draw the pass interference.
Yeah, that was a fun moment, and then the jawing after from a quiet guy.
Right.
So he's got a little dog in him, and then Travis Etienne finished it off, of course, and they were able to punch that in. But the Jaguars weren't able to do it. Remember, the Jags were last in the league a year ago at red zone scoring.
Right.
And they did it early, but then that fumble obviously puts them in a negative percentage.
And then the throw to Brian Thomas Jr. again later in the game. I mean, there's a lot to build off of, but it's a hollow building when you don't win the game. And if they don't take the stuff that they build off of and translate it to a W next week, it makes it even more frustrating.
Yeah, there were some weird things that happened in this football game that really didn't have to do with the Jags or the Dolphins in terms of a play here or there or an impact on the game. But Tyreek Hill, from my vantage point, I was like, is he okay? Did he get hurt? And then they're like, oh, no, it was the referee.
Oh, dear.
Watch this.
Cleat? Oh!
He got cleated.
Right in the arm. In the arm. They wrapped that thing up.
Yeah.
And he stayed in the game.
They worked on him for a while. That was a pretty lengthy delay.
I'm assuming it was a gusher, like bloody.
Yeah, bloody enough.
Yeah.
Get the trainers on you. He came back, tough guy.
Yeah.
And then we had this.
Duvernay had to actually take his helmet off to get the hand removed from the helmet.
Yeah, thumb fracture, the top of his thumb.
Well, when you have a 15-yarder and a finger almost cut off, that's a tough play on defense.
I didn't face mask him. Well, yeah, you did.
I was thinking that today, Dan. Can you imagine if the refs missed the face mask? Would they have actually gone over there and thrown the flag later?
Yeah, you would have had to. I mean, he's got to take his helmet off to get his hand out of the of the helmet. So that gave us an extra 15 yards on that drive, which was nice on the little reverse to Devin Duvernay.
Well, it is a dreary Monday around here as the rain keeps coming down. It's
God's tears. I mean, we were sad in Jacksonville, man.
Well,
if they had won, the sun would have been shining, and it would have been a happy time.
Well, it's too early in the year, man. We got sunshine and rainbows still to come.
Oh,
we haven't
yeah.
lost our love and feeling for that. A wall that says it all. Can we give some love to somebody? A little positivity
come on
here
now.
on the show. We'll do that. Jags Report live on Fox 30 and the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Thanks to the folks that made it out through all this rain and a little bit of flash flooding in the area. We'll be right back here on the show.
When I say it means something to me, gentlemen, it means something to me.
High school football is back and it's bigger than ever. Welcome to the Friday Night Zone Blitz.
It is bigger than a game.
Watch the biggest games each week live as the action unfolds with instant reaction and analysis from our Hall of Famer, Kevin Sullivan. It starts with live look-ins at the top matchups, including our Jaguars Prep Whataburger Game of the Week. And that is just the beginning of 4 straight hours of coverage. From 8 to 10:30, the Friday Night Zone Blitz is streaming on our Action News Jax app and online. At 10:30, the Friday Night Blitz you know and love. A half hour of highlights from around the area. 11 o'clock, we shine the spotlight on the bands that pump up the crowd. 11:15, it's time to blitz through the highlights online and on air. Then 11:35, back to the stream to break down the night's results with a reaction from local coaches. 4 straight hours of high school football on the Friday Night Zone Blitz. Only on Action Sports Jax 24/7.
This is Action Sports Jax Jags Report Live from Strings Sports Brewery. Sponsored by Farah & Farah, the exclusive injury law firm of the Jaguars.
Well, Sunshine and Rainbows returns for another year. I guess we've been doing this show since 2019.
Brent, let me assure the folks watching that the Sunshine and Rainbows department is going to be shining brightly this year. It's not going to – this was a disappointing loss, but it's going to be okay. There's going to be a lot more W's than L's, in my opinion.
I like that. Thank you, Dan Hicken.
You're welcome.
I thought this was a very bright moment. Devin Lloyd played fantastic.
Yeah.
Dan, he's been a question mark a little bit, but Lloyd was all over the place, and if you love Pro Football Focus numbers, he actually was the highest-rated player for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then how about the kicker? You love Cam Little, don't you?
I love this kid. Like, I know he had class today at Bartram Trail High School because he looks like he's about 15 years old, although they all look young to me. But, man, this kid walks out in his first NFL game, and it was like a beautiful 7-iron. Right? Just hit it out beautifully. Nice draw. Drew it right in there. Never even doubted. This kid is like the Cowboys kicker. He's going to hit a 65, 66, 67-yarder.
Huge leg.
This year. He's going to do it because Peterson likes to do that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So he's going to try it. So I was pumped up about him.
I was sitting behind him on the bus ride home, and he was talking to somebody on like family or something. He's like, I kicked that one exactly how I wanted to kick it. But it was a nice. He's 21 years old, man.
His
Had
first
a nice
kick
moment.
in an NFL game, man.
He was soaking it in.
Yeah.
And Tank Bigsby, what a nice story.
Great
after
story.
last year. Builds some confidence now, and this is going to be a big deal if Tank can continue to do this and be a 1-2 punch with Travis Etienne.
Just doing what's expected out of me when I get opportunities. Like I was saying on camp, you know, when you get opportunities, just put your best foot forward. Doing whatever I can do to help this team. And next time we come out victorious.
Well, that's Tank, and here's Antonio Johnson. Hey, man, good. Thanks for making your way here. Jag safety, and hey, it's not an easy ride in this rain, is it? Look, man, we appreciate you stopping by. And, hey, before we introduce Antonio and talk a little ball with him, how about, well, maybe we don't have that play. We'll talk about ball instead. How about we do this with you? How difficult, how real was the speed of the Miami Dolphins on Sunday?
I feel like when you see it on TV, you have one perception of it, but, like, being in front of it, having it run, like, at you, it's a whole different ball game. Them guys fast, and we knew that going into the game, but I feel like we handled it pretty well.
I thought you guys played awesome on the defensive side of the football yesterday. As we look at some of the pictures here and pass breakups, you guys were getting after it. You went and you hit. I thought you had a great game plan. They're going to hit a player too. I mean, they're the number one offense in the NFL from last year. But I thought you guys had a terrific performance. What was it like for you to be out on the field, getting all those snaps and participating?
It was fun, honestly. Playing at safety was different from last year playing at nickel, so it was a different perspective on the field. But overall, I feel like we had, like you said, we had a really good game plan. We was able to really study their film, and I feel like we did really good, even though we didn't get the dub. But I feel like the performance itself was pretty well.
I think it was fun to watch Darnell Savage, and it seems like you guys are going to interchange sometime between nickel and safety. How much did that happen yesterday, and how well did he play as a newcomer in a Jags uniform?
Sav, he played very good. He made plays all throughout the game, in the air, on the ground. Like you said, I feel like our secondary is very versatile, so we come with different packages with different players on the field, a lot of DBs on the field. And I feel like we just take very pride in our defensive room, like having so many guys that can play different positions and give an offense different looks.
They must be great for you to have Savage and Darby and guys who have been through it all in the National Football League on the field. In fact, I was talking with Brent earlier today on the long touchdown play. I thought Darby had a terrific thing. He Cheetah caught the ball. He's breaking down, and Darby kind of shoved Cisco to try to get him to give a little jumping down.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great play, great veteran play, though.
Yeah,
What's it like having those guys on the field and learning from them?
Man, just day in and day out, just learning from, still being a young guy in the league, having those guys in your room, vets like that's like won Super Bowls and know what to do to get to those next levels in their career. Just being able to pick their brain and just, use them as guides. And, we have a lot of young guys in our room too, like Jerry and who else? I'm just say Jerry for now, but Jerry.
Monteric is young.
Monteric. Oh, yeah. But, guys like that, including myself, that really don't have that much experience in the NFL. And we can look to those guys if we have questions and, just use them.
He's a Texas A&M Aggie, and those Aggies are coming to Gainesville this week. We'll ask him a little bit about that when we come back. Antonio Johnson joins us on Jags Report live at Strings Sports Brewery in Springfield. Stay with us live on Fox 30 and the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. And Cleveland comes to town for the home opener.
When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jax, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jax is always on. Now, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jax 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jax 24/7.
This is Action Sports Jax Jags Report live from Strings Sports Brewery, sponsored by Farah & Farah, the exclusive injury law firm of the Jaguars.
All right, Antonio Johnson, your Aggies going to beat the Gators or what?
100%. No doubt. Come on, giggle them all the way.
We asked them to be quick, 100%. That's all it took.
That's all you needed.
We'll have more with Antonio Johnson throughout the week. That's going to do it for the first edition of Jags Report Live. And we'll have Brian Thomas and Christian Kirk here on Thursday for Jaguars All Access. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks for watching Action Sports Jax Jags Report live from Strings Sports Brewery, sponsored by Farah & Farah, the exclusive injury law firm of the Jaguars.